Welcome to Lorehammer, listener lore.
Welcome back to Lorehammer. My name is Derrick.
Lorehammer!
You can add those in post, Jordan.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, man. You're the best. But welcome back to Lorehammer. My name is Eric. Okay, that's Mark. And joining us, as always, is our faithful compatriot, Jordan.
Tech guy.
How are you doing, Jordan?
Producer.
Ooh. The PJ, as I like to call him.
Yep.
Peanut jam.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I'm the peanut butter to your jam.
Well,
The sausage to your egg.
yeah, I like sausage and eggs.
Yeah.
The meat to your bun.
Nice. The hollandaise to your poached egg. Right?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
It's a
Naming
good
things that
combo.
go well together. How about Lorehammer and listener lore? Do those go well together?
It has a nice ring to it. Whoever thought of that is a friggin' genius.
What genius? Anyways,
Great with the language. Great with people.
Frodigoogle.
Friggin' genius.
Today we are recording our very first listener lore episode. We've been asking you guys to send it to us ever since Mark finished his, or at least shared his current story about House Ericus. So that was fun to do an entire episode on that, and we kind of picked it apart and shared things we liked and thought he could do better, and that's kind of what we want to do here. Is we want to share the stories you guys have been kind enough to give us, and then we want to go through what we thought was really cool and what we thought maybe could be improved upon.
Yeah.
We're not intending to be...
Yeah, we're not going to be grammar Nazis or like...
Oh, I am.
Oh, okay.
Why did you not put it this way? It is ein, zwei, drei.
But yeah, one thing I asked too is just send us your lore if you're done writing it. Like, don't just keep giving us updated copies, please. Like,
Have you been getting a lot of that?
yeah,
Nice.
It's cool, but there's a lot, and I don't want to have to keep reading entire lores just so I can pick up on one sentence that was different that you changed.
Yeah, or give us the piece you want us to share. That's what it should be.
Exactly. And give it to us when you're done. We'll give you our thoughts on air, and then you can change it. Like, I honestly just don't want to.
Could they just share like a Google Doc with you and then just change?
Even at that point, I'd rather not.
It's still just,
okay.
I have to keep rereading it
Yeah.
every time you do a tweak.
No, you should send us a finished product.
Exactly. Please just send us a finished product.
Absolutely.
But having said that, the ones that I have read, I do really enjoy reading them. I just don't enjoy reading things twice. You know.
Well, once is hard enough.
Exactly. But yeah, man, they're great. So we're gonna read through enough to make up an hour's worth of content or something like that, and then life goes on.
Of course. I will begin. Now, my throat is a little weird today, so we'll see how this goes on. But
We've already recorded 3 hours of podcast today, too. So.
It's been good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
how about to make it easier, you read one word, I'll read one word.
Jordan can read the next one.
Exactly. We'll do that.
And something to understand is that everyone wrote their story a little bit differently.
And I really like this, actually.
Yeah, it shows everyone's kind of own perception and interpretation of what's important to them.
Yeah, some people wrote about characters. Some people wrote like an actual story. Some people wrote like a history. So all we ask is just send us a finished product and we'll get around to reading it.
And we are just going to read it exactly how it was sent to us.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, this is John's. Third Exalted Court of House Raven. Knight Paladin, Cazador's Wrath. The Princeps Majoris, Earl Harbinger. Princeps Majoris of the Third Exalted Court of House Raven. Harbinger has led his courts into battle for years. His knight was brought out of the Vault Transcendent by the Sacristans by order of the Iron Duke as soon as he was old enough to prove his worth. Wrath is the only knight in the Third Court to wear chevrons as a mark of respect from the other pilots. Knight-errant Hunter's Fury, piloted by Baron Sam Haven. Harbinger's oldest friend, Sam, turned down his own court to follow his friend into battle. Countless times, on countless battlefields, Fury has battled side by side with Wrath, both pilots and knights seamlessly melding into the perfect weapon of their enemy's doom. Knight Errant, Flame of Victory, piloted by the noble Milo Anderson. Taken under Harbinger's wing as a new knight pilot, Milo has been by his side for many years. His knight's machine spirit is strong-willed and must be kept on a tight leash, which Milo has learned to handle over time. Sometimes, though, he lets Victory, Flame of Victory, have its fun, much to the consternation of his peers. Relic Cerastus Lancer, Lady's Vengeance, piloted by Baroness Holly Newcastle. Assumed the title Baroness after the Battle of Highworld Ronan Secundus, during which her life mate was killed by an Elder Lynx. She continues to hunt the Eldar with a zeal unmatched by any princeps, hoping to find the Lynx pilot who killed her life mate. Relic Crusader Steel Rain, piloted by noble Owen Zastava. Newest member of the court, he inherited his knight from his uncle after his death, as there was no living direct descendant. Rain is a ranged weaponry platform, and as such supports the more assault-based knights. With Rain's centuries of service to the keep Inviolate and Violet?
Yeah.
Okay. Owen is still trying to prove to the Princeps Majoris that he deserves such a valuable knight. Knight Castellan, Thunder of Colossi, piloted by noble Julie Shackleford. Julie Shackleford is a newer noble who has the privilege to be the pilot of the latest Dominus-class knight awoken by the sacristans in the vault. Well known for her marksmanship before the trials, she is now fighting Fury alongside Steel Rain as the long-range fire support for the lance. Knight Gallant, Hand of Justice, noble Jason Lakoko. Jason Lakoko pilots Jason Lakoko pilots the Hand of Justice into combat with a relish and glee that most find unsettling. Never one to back down from an assault, Jason usually brings the hand back battered but victorious. Night Warden Iron Disciple, piloted by noble Chadwick Gardenier. A lover of all things combat, Chad and Disciple will wade into the thickest of hordes with joy, burning the enemy down with fire, blasting them with Avenger rounds, and slashing with the Ravager chainsword. His abilities make him seem a dervish of destruction on the battlefield. Armiger Warglaive Hammerhand, piloted by armsman J. Jermaine Jones. Bastard son of an armsman, J.J. Trip Jones was, quote-unquote, selected as a Warglaive pilot after he was involved in a bar-cleaning brawl that left 3 dead by his hands. His punishment was to fight alongside House Raven's frontline assault knights until he paid restitution to the victims' families. He is free from that burden, but stays in his Warglaive by choice now, following the Third Court into battle. Armiger Warglaive Huntsman, piloted by armsman Albert Lee. Albert Lee is a rising star in House Raven. High Princeps Harbinger is training him to become a Questoris pilot. He began his career as a stable boy, moved up to houseboy through training and schooling to armsman for Julie Shackleford. He and his partner Trip flush the quarry for her and Thunder to annihilate with plasma and lance.
Cool. I really like that each one is a character, because House Raven is actually like an existing knight household, so the way he did it, is you write about characters that are in the house, because you can't really change
you can't change anything about the house itself.
My favorite is definitely Hammerhand. Like, he's the one who got in a bar fight, killed 3 people, basically selected to be the Warglaive.
Conscripted.
And now he's just paying restitutions, although he did eventually pay him off and decide to stay. But I don't know. It's very characterful, very... Yeah,
it's different than just everyone who is, like, they're chosen from their bloodline.
Yeah, that...
So they don't really have, like, a reason beyond, like, it's my duty to do it.
And it's
which
just
isn't
like,
a bad reason.
No, exactly. But, like, to describe, like...
It's just...
They're just, like, you describe their fighting style. Like, that is cool. That's noteworthy. But, like, it gives character besides just they crush people with iron boot. But having said that, I like that. When he originally sent this, I want to do something similar for my knight household, come up with a couple different pilot names. But I'm lazy.
Something I like about it is I like the individual names again, and I like the individual kind of style that you gave them. I also like that you talk about the knight as like a person. So me, I'm not really into like the whole knight thing like Mark is.
Yeah, sure.
But
takes a special mentally touched person to be a knight guy.
When I think about knights, I definitely think of machines. But when you're describing them as companions.
Yeah, like they actually have like their own AI system built in and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And like I get that some people might view them as that, but totally to these people who are piloting them, like they are their friends.
Yeah.
And they would have personalities, and they would have, quirks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I like that. Something I wish I had seen in here was specific battles or enemies that you're fighting.
Yeah, because I think only the one Baroness, the Eldar one, was kind of like
mentioned.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to know, like, okay, so Noble Milo Anderson, like he's the guy who has the flame of victory, and sometimes he goes a little crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and his peers don't really like that, but why? What happened?
Oh yeah. There's
right?
a story
like,
there. Yeah, no, that's
exactly.
a good point.
What's the story that his peers are like, not really sure if you should go crazy, Milo, and he's like, screw it, I'm doing it anyways. What's that? Leroy Jenkins. That's how I imagine this guy. Anyways, but other than that, it was pretty cool. Any ideas, Jordan? Any thoughts?
No, sounds good. I also liked Hammerhand. I kind of like Vagabonds. So
Yeah.
The Vagabond character. But,
yeah. So if you're writing more for your lore, like Eric said, it'd be cool to see like campaigns that they actually have fought in, and like just add some more character. Like, why did he go crazy? But, yeah. Is your voice gonna survive there, Eric?
Barely.
I know a couple times you're like, oh.
Yeah.
I'll read this one then. It's by Derrick. Obsidian Watch Fleet. Led by Watchmaster Orison, he has served since the founding of the Deathwatch as a former Black Shield, along with Kill Team leader and captain Achilles of the Mortifactors chapter, and eterned Leviathan Dreadnought Sigurd of the Iron Hands. They call no station or planet as their home base, instead opting to be a fleet based between 3 Retribution class size capital ships, the Nighthawk, the Cavalier, and the Icarus, and several smaller cruiser class ships. The Obsidian fleet prioritizes the recovery of Xenos artifacts and technology over anything else, bordering on the line of slight heresy, often spurred along by the Watchmaster himself. There have been times where they have come to blows with the Astro Militarum or even other Adeptus Astartes in their conquest to capture and sequester these items. They work by means often by 2 kill teams led by Captain Achilles or Brother Librarian Atuma of the Blood Ravens, deploying at the forefront by means of Corvus Blackstars spearheading the assault. From there, the Hammer meets the Anvil with Dreadnoughts deployed directly into the battleground. Most of the time, Dreadnought Sigurd at the middle meeting foul Xenos scum with his Grav Flux bombard array. Assault teams carefully lead... My punctuation is so good, eh? Assault teams carefully led by wise actions of Kill Team leader Rashal from the Raven Guard chapter. All these forces meet together to give swift death to those enemies of the Imperium of Man and those who would dare stand in their way to secure the future of humanity. Yeah, and that was the Obsidian fleet.
So this is a kill team in Deathwatch?
Yeah, this is a Deathwatch fortress essentially.
Oh, okay.
But instead of having like a stationary watch fortress, he has like a fleet. So my only gripe with this is just the size of things that you wrote down. Like, I really like that, like the whole theme, like they go out and try to like specifically recover Xenos artifacts. But when it comes to scale, 3 Retribution class size capital ships and several smaller cruiser class ships, that's a lot. That's more than most chapters have. Like, just tone that down a bit. Like, maybe just have 1. But
yeah, well, how many Marines are in this fleet?
Yeah, like, it's so hard to say. It's nothing wrong. It's just it seems off to me to have such
the
a
scale
big
of it, yeah.
And then there's one other thing that was they come to blows with other Adeptus Astartes, and
which maybe makes sense, but on an extremely small scale.
Yeah, like,
and even blows is tough.
Yeah, same with like even the Astra Militarum. Like, I just feel like you have to have a very good reason, and recovering a Xenos artifact might not be a good enough reason. And usually at the end of it, somebody is usually deemed like a heretic. I don't know, it just seems once again like a step too far in my mind.
I can definitely see that.
But like I like the idea of it, like and I like that you actually have named characters again. I'm going to say that a lot. Like anytime there's actual named characters that you can actually develop a story and follow through with them.
I like that you described how they work. Normally they drop in two kill teams, one by Captain Achilles or the Librarian Atuma, and then you have the Dreadnoughts deployed directly into the battleground. So it's like they have like their set way that they've already determined works for them, and you've just described that out. I think
and that's their set way, which just brings me back to wow, but they have 3 of these Retribution class battleships. It's too much. Tone it down a bit. But if you only have 2 squads.
Well, I think they function in 2 squads.
Yeah. And this is just his prime example. But
it would make way more sense to me to have a lot of way smaller ships.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I think even battle cruisers might even be too big at this point.
Yeah, battle cruisers pretty wild. Like they're rare. Like chapters only have like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
But anywho, I like the theme of it.
It's I'm surprised. I don't think most people would pick Deathwatch as like their story.
Yeah, like, and if you do Deathwatch, you do like characters in the Deathwatch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're picking stuff that's already there. This is kind of cool to see someone create a story within the Deathwatch.
Yeah.
Most people would be like, oh, these are like my heroes of my own made chapter, 2 of which served on the Deathwatch, right? So
sure,
they would use the Deathwatch to fill out the chapter as opposed to fill something within the Deathwatch.
Oh, weird, because I know lots of people love the Deathwatch writing stories with them.
Really?
Yeah.
It seems odd to me to write a story about something where everyone comes for completely different reasons and there's no...
Well, that's why people like...
uniformness, though.
That's why people like it, because then you can write literally anything and you can write actual like character
but you can do the
conflicts.
exact same thing with a chapter that you create on your own.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Is if you were going to create something, like I would imagine more freedom in a non-Deathwatch chapter as opposed to Deathwatch.
Sure.
So
I see what
find
you're
it
saying.
interesting that someone has done that.
How dare they?
Jordan? Anything to add to Derrick?
I think the idea of having an Xenos artifact thing is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I
idea.
really like that. And like, do they even go so far to use these relics and stuff? And have they even use like Xenos relics to wipe out entire planets? Like
heretical.
But is it?
I would like them to find the Necron Ossuary.
Is that what is that?
The star map.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I really like that aspect of it, where they're more focused on like recovery of these like crazy Xenos artifacts.
Yeah, like what do they do with them? Do they hand them off to like the actual Ordo Xenos, or do they hold on to them? Do they study them themselves?
Yeah.
Are they considered experts in these items?
Should I read this next one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sean?
Yeah.
This is from Sean. The second company of the Resplendent Talons, an Ultima founding chapter of Primaris Marines, derived from Rogel Dorn's Geneseed, was sent...
Geneseed.
Geneseed, sorry.
Dan!
Sorry, Dan.
I hope he makes it this far.
He probably won't. Was sent in support of a crusade on the edge of the Halo Stars. 12 years into the offensive, they were ordered by Colonel Marquesh to wipe out an Imperial Guard regiment that had turned traitor, claiming a newly conquered planet as their own. Though the guardsmen were slaughtered with ferocity reserved for heretics and fought well in turn, managing to destroy 2 of 2nd Company's squads, the lack of chaos iconography on display left Captain Milos wary. Upon returning to the command planet of the Crusade, the 2nd Company discovered that the Lord General Militant was dead, having fallen mysteriously ill shortly after their departure. The newly minted LGM Marquesh thanked them for their duty and ordered Captain Milos to execute an advisor who had dared to question his appointment. It was then that Milos realized his company had been utilized as a tool of this man's ambition, and put a bolt round through Marquesh's heart. In the battle that ensued, only the command squad managed to escape the planet, the rest of the company falling to the heavy guns that had been brought to bear against the enemies of the Imperium. In desperation, they commandeered a small orbital shuttle in the hope that they could get a message to the rest of their chapter. With Militarum Navy vessels in pursuit, they were saved when an ancient strike cruiser transitioned into the system and took them aboard, fighting off the ships before jumping back into the warp. They were welcomed with open arms by their hosts, a band of Alpha Legion Astartes, bearing no mutations and seemingly no ill will towards them. With heavy hearts, they explained the situations. The remains of a second company could never return to the service of the Imperium, and though they had solved the issue in a way only an Astartes can, they could be forever branded as renegades for their actions. Surely, though, they would be more than welcome to resupply and take one of the ships of the Hydra's fleet for their own. And should they need assistance in the future, all they have to do is ask.
Okay. Honestly, one of the best ones I read.
Yeah, this one.
I really, really liked it.
Yeah, no, it is pretty
Kind of
cool.
interesting, yeah.
So, if you don't know anything about the Alpha Legion, this is like a legion that is probably heretical, but maybe not. But
Dun, dun,
definitely
dun.
is heretical, but also maybe isn't. And they're a legion that is shrouded like completely in mystery, even to the point of where no one even knows if their Primarch is still alive or dead, or if the Primarch exists within the chapter. Anyway, there's so much mystery and intrigue based around it. I absolutely loved the fact that you brought them in it. I think what you asked them to do, like the chapter and go like kill the planet, that is like well within the means of reality of 40K.
Yeah.
And them not realizing it was a mistake until after, like, and so like they let it go far, but not too far to where I thought it wasn't believable. Like I thought this was a very believable story.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons that I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I love the idea that I thought, like, what if the Alpha Legion had set everything up in the beginning?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it kind of hints towards that, because why else would they be there?
Right, exactly.
And
they
welcoming
were the ones,
them. Yeah,
they were the
almost
ones who like set up the whole like destruction of the planet.
Yeah.
So they killed an entire planet, and they killed almost the entire second company.
Yeah.
Just to get a couple of these guys.
Yeah.
So it just is like, what more do they have planned for them in the future? And
Yeah.
I enjoy it so much. Like honestly, when I'm reading
Absolutely.
this one, I want to hear more about it when I read it.
I always like Renegade chapters that are not heretical, just Renegade. Like maybe they disagree with the way the Imperium's run, and there's some
Or
fallout
they were
that
betrayed
way,
somehow.
or that, right? But they're not like chaos, 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 chaos. You know, like. But I like Renegade. Yeah, no, I like it too. It's very good.
I think the only thing I have to say that is a problem is I just want more. That's all. I feel like one of those American Idol judges.
Oh, fuck,
like,
yeah, hey.
Yo, dog. I thought it was great, dog. Just keep on doing what you're doing, dog. Bring it on back, dog. And then it's that girl like, I loved it. Oh my god, that was amazing. So I think that's
So
what
you
we
feel
should
like
do.
all three people
No.
there.
Here's what we'll do.
Okay,
Jordan, you can be the girl
that suits him the
loves-
best.
That just loves everyone.
I just love Warhammer.
Yeah, you can be that one. Mark, between the two of us, who
Yeah.
should be the Simon Cowell?
While I like to get fired up for no fucking reason.
That's true. That's true. But that just means you have to rip down everyone.
I know, but I'm not an asshole. I just like to get fired up. So then I would defer to you as the asshole.
All right, that's very true. I am kind of an asshole.
The other thing I do like about this was that it's an all Primaris chapter. Like, it's cool. I don't like when you
Oh, it
mix
makes more
chapters.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just cool. That's all.
That's all. All right, our next, Josh. The Masque of the Laughing Shadow. The fall of the Eldari to the ravenous hunger of Slaanesh was a devastating blow to the entire race. The only of the pantheon said to survive was the laughing god Sigarak. The enigmatic Harlequin devote everything to the laughing god, including their souls. It is said that once in a while, Segurak joins a great battle for the fun of it. The Masque of the Laughing Shadow knows this beyond doubt. The first to be chosen tells a tale beyond belief. Dancing among a great battle between the Masque of the Midnight Sorrow and a splinter demon horde, the troopmaster found himself in the eye of the storm. A single moment, completely surrounded by the blur and sparkle of his troop, mixed with blood and the foul creatures falling to the dance. Raising his eyes to the sky to drink in the pure moment of perfection, one of his players, expertly using his flip bolt to soar over the melee directly within the troopmaster's view, and winked. Shock and glee filled the troopmaster with a great fervor, and he leapt into the air to find his next quarrel. After the encore, when the dance was done, the troopmaster, cleaning the blood from his costume, spoke of the encounter upon the field, only to have the rest of the Masque dismiss it as a simple purity of faith. The next day, the troopmaster had vanished, leaving no trace except the motley of the Midnight Sorrow behind. As others are chosen, they are sent to a spar deep in the webway, to don a darker costume, and eternally play out scripts handed to them directly by Segurak. The Masque of the Laughing Shadow is rarely seen, and dismissed by other masks as myth. Segurak's devotees believe he has a plan for revenge already in motion since the birth of the Chaos Gods. With the birth of the Masque of the Laughing Shadow, With the birth of the Masque of the Laughing Shadow, that Segurak prepares for a great reading is tough.
It's tough.
All right. Woo. The birth of the Masque of the Laughing Shadow, that Segurak prepares for a great performance that will reshape the webway and send ripples through the warp. All right.
Jordan,
What do you think?
I think it's kind of cool. It's like I suppose it is his own lore, but it's sort of like adding. It's almost narrative more so to like.
This is an origin story.
Yeah.
It's an origin story
like,
of that mask.
Yeah, it's sort of developing a narrative, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like which the other.
So it doesn't give you any kind of idea as to how the mask functions as a group or what their dynamic is.
And it's almost kind of like a creepy horror show to feel to it, which is pretty cool.
That's totally a feeling you would get out of the Harlequins too.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how could anyone like enjoy this disgusting mess? So
yeah.
I like stories where the story itself can be a complete story. So like in this one at the very beginning, he actually kind of described like the Elder Pantheon and like described Segura and like his role. Like it was a complete story. He's not just tossing out names expecting you to know what it is. I kind of like that. But he didn't spend like a whole bunch. He just spent one paragraph to just kind of lay it out. But having said that, on a whole, I don't really like the lore. I just hate when people like, I'm not accusing him of trying to make the best of the best here, but like I hate when people take like something like Segurak and then try to tie something towards him, like he hand chose this. It's like, did he really? It's like Reboot Gilliman hand chose these guys to make a new chapter. To me, it just seems like it's too much. Now, if they felt the call of Segurak and like they think they're chosen by him, like I would enjoy that a lot more. But for it to be definitive that Segurak is choosing them, it's not the direction I kind of like. But hey, that's fine.
I have a counterpoint for you.
Yeah, do share.
All of these Eldar that feel like Segurak has chosen them are falling to insanity.
Sure, perfect.
And like the script that they're playing out is just absolutely insane.
None of it makes any sense.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason, like, all of them believe it's true. They're like, Segurak has this grand plan.
Yeah.
He knows everything.
Yeah, and I like that a lot. Where
This
it's
could
like,
make a great M. Night Shyamalan movie.
They're all just insane.
Yeah, and I like that more than definitively saying, like, Segurak chose him.
Tough. It's really
It
tough.
is very tough.
To do, like, everyone wants to be good.
Oh, absolutely.
And everyone wants to have the story they have like stand out.
Yeah.
Amongst others. I mean, you
there's-
kind of are guilty of doing that just with the fact that you brought a Titan into your group.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
And I regret it every day.
Yeah, no,
and I know what I did was wrong.
And he flagellates himself constantly.
Yeah,
to get
exactly.
Over it. But so everyone wants to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
And I can't hold him against that.
Of course,
but-
everyone is guilty of it
Yeah.
a little bit. It kind of, as kind of oxymoron as this is about to sound, though, you're setting yourself up for failure, I think, because now you are the best of the best. Because the Harlequins are already the best,
amazing. Yeah.
And so now to say that Segarak is like choosing, like creating this best group.
Yeah.
So imagine you have Space Marines. You have all of them in the world. They're the best.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Reboot Gilliman goes around. He's like, Calgar, come here.
Exactly.
Dante, come here.
Yes.
Logan, come here.
He creates this amazing thing, and then all of a sudden they create Primaris Marines, and all of those guys now, like, you're still great, but we have Primaris.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
have fun. That, like, I'm just thinking is
Yeah, exactly.
you're kind of limiting. Like, if you want to be the best of the best, you just have to always keep that up. And as soon as they introduce something else, like now next you're gonna say, like, I don't know, and maybe the next thing to do would be like they're involved in Inari's plan.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And they're
like,
working with Yvrain to like bring back Inari.
Yeah, like
It's
I just
part of
never
it.
like when you try to tie in existing characters to do things that they haven't done.
It is tough, especially around
Yeah.
pivotal things.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
like what you said, where it's like, as long as you change it to like they think that they're being called by Cormagra or Segarak, like fucking love it then. That's sweet. Like even if they're not going insane, but like they
Then you
all-
might fucking hate that idea.
yeah, but whatever.
Josh.
I guess that's the other thing. Please don't change your lore just
Oh,
because we don't like it.
God, no.
I don't like a lot of the lore that Games Workshop writes.
Well, Mark has even said that he doesn't even consider half of it headcanon, so.
I never use the word headcanon. That's a Christian term, I'll have you know.
You do use that all the time.
The only headcanon I got is my cack.
Oh. It's a headcanon, I get it.
Yeah.
It's a cannon.
And it shoots
it's
bullets.
out of its head.
Yes.
It should not shoot bullets, Mark.
Well, not literal bullets, just
Metaphorical bullets?
like I'm shooting blanks.
They hurt me just the same when I get hit by them. I want to say that.
Yeah. Cool enough. It's not bad. It's just
No, of course
that's a personal thing.
There's no such thing as bad personal story.
Yeah.
Unless it's bad.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Just clear my
Right
throat.
into the mic.
Alex, his lord, the Lamenting Ones. The Lord Commander sat up upon his throne, contemplating the world before him. Coagulated blood and ichor trickles gently down his cheek in a sullied display of tears as remorse fill his thoughts. So full of life. He said to no one in particular. The cultists who serviced the bridge had long since learned to keep their heads down during the master's lamentations. Any who answered or thought to stopped working were soon to be relieved of their posts and given the honor of the testing facility where the holy medicines were constantly developed by the master biologists. So full of life, it is clear decay has not yet taken a foothold in this place. They have not yet seen the great freedom we bring. They do not understand the happiness we offer, the sweet release of pain and suffering. The tragedy of it only makes me weep. The hologram of the planet flickered, and for a moment it was almost as if the planet were decaying before his eyes, an omen, perhaps a vision from the Plague Lord himself. The Lord Commander was laughing now, fresh ichor streaming down his face as the despoiled tears of black blood welled up anew. Soon, he whispered to the planet between harsh, gurgling laughter. Soon. It's funny because now this voice that I'm doing is his Lord's Commander voice. It's official
It's
now.
official.
Soon you shall feel the grandfather's embrace and know peace. Nazroth shuddered as the master's gaze passed over him. He knew the danger he was in. He had seen what the gifts of the master could do. He had been to lower decks where all the gifted were kept. It was still 3 days before the ship would reach the striking range of the world below. During this time, no hint of the identity of the ship could be noticed. The planet was to believe Wow. The planet was to believe it was yet another space hulk drifting harmlessly by. Nazaroth was working on the comms of the ship, and even the slightest vox noise escaped the ship could trigger an investigation from the planet, shattering the Master's carefully laid plans. But as always, the Master and his brethren were not making this mission easy. The Master was constantly voxing various subordinates for status checks on the battle readiness.
Asshole.
What's the status report of the medical bay? Everyone's dead down here, sir. That's just not a part of the lore.
No.
The Master was constantly voxing various subordinates for status checks on the battle readiness of all these needed to be dampened before they could reach the planet and alert the whole system. Nazaroth could feel the Master's eyes boring into him, waiting, pushing to see a sign of weakness or mistake. With a hissing sound, he knew he was safe, and the command bridge blast door opened smoothly despite its rusted and pitted appearance, and one of the blessed strode into the bridge. Lord Commander, you summoned me. The blessed croaked, almost mockingly, his voice thick and barely concealed with malice. What may I assist you with? The Master's mood darkened, a sound not dissimilar to rotten flesh being ripped apart by flies growled from his throat. It was chilling. I called you here hours ago, and yet you mock me upon arrival. It is not for the fact that the Fly Lord speaks to you. I would kill you where you stand. The enmity between them was clear to all on the bridge. However, fear kept them rooted in their stations. If it is your desire, Lord Commander, then I am your humble servant, here to do your bidding as our Lord Materion decreed. The Blessed gave a low, sardonic bow as he croaked on, an ethereal smirk touching the fringes of his face, even as the same false tears seemed to be rolling eternally down his face and dripping onto the floor. Nazaroth had heard this was the case with all the blessed on the ship. The Lamenting Ones, indeed, ever weeping that the people still lived without the Fly Lord's embrace. I desire you to follow my orders without remark or satire, witch, the Master boomed. The Primarch may have decreed you to be tactically necessity. However, make no mistake, he shares the same contempt for your wretched ilk as I. You were not with us in the beginning when we crushed pathetic witches such as yourself, merely for your existence, nor were you presented when our great Primarch chose to rid himself of the shackles of the false emperor and took on the embrace of the Plague Lord. You have not been here. You have not been present for much of our history, witch. You are too young, by far. Oh, formatting. Far to claim any such honor. You are not new to this ship as you were new to our company on the orders of the Primarch to aid us in our mission to claim more gene seed from the false emperor to feed our growing numbers of the Death Guard. You will remember your place. Sorry. Apparently affected by such death incarnate in rage, so the blessed simply smiled a rickus and calmly spoke. Yes, Lord Commander. What it is you shall have me do. Ready the company. We shall begin drops imminently. Ensure that sections of the Hulk we are now towing is used to cover, so it appears that the Hulk is breaking apart and falling to the planet. I want 100% successful drop, not one unnecessary waste of Nurgle's blessing. Inform the surgeon his duties will be required soon. Am I to do anything else, Lord Commander, or shall I ready myself to drop as well? There's one last thing. Fetch me the biologist. I have need of his skills upon the bridge. There was a menace in those last words. Nazaroth hastily checked his workstation. That wasn't there before. He hadn't looked away for a second. There had been no distraction, but there it was, evidence of a scan bouncing off the hull of the ship. Cannot have picked up any such scan would only show the ship appearing to be a space hulk. But that did not matter. The fact it was Nazaroth's duty to damp all signals incoming and outgoing. Nazaroth froze. My master! The signal confirms to the planet we are nothing but a space hulk. He stammered. The master's voice was soft now. It sounded caring, almost proud, fatherly in fact. Worry not, my child. You are soon to have one of the greatest honors. You will be brought closer to the Fly Lord than any of your comrades in this room. He will act through you, and you will be one of him. And in doing so, you will be allowed to flight alongside me and the other blessed of this ship. Nazaroth tried to stand, to run, to escape. With speed that defied his flesh, the master was beside him, holding him in an iron grip. There was no escape, only the gift. Moments later, a bittersweet smell filled the room. It was a smell of death and life anew, the smell of putrefaction. The biologist entered the room. What's another voice here? Female voice?
I sincerely doubt it.
You requested my services, Lord Commander. His voice, though distorted by his helmet, sounded as though a cancer had long ago claimed his lungs and throat. Oh, okay, let's redo that then. You requested my services.
I prefer the one where we could understand
you. You requested my services, Lord Commander. Had not claimed his speech soft and whispering like the wind moving through long rotted branches of a long dead tree. Yes, biologist, I have another test subject for you. He volunteered not a few moments ago. The master's voice was cheerful now. Would you bestow him with a gift as a favor to me? He chimed gleefully. It would be my honor, Lord Commander. The smell grew stronger and the biologist neared Nazaroth. Wretched. Breathe deep. The biologist whispered. This is the last sensation you will know. He took out a syringe from the rack of vials upon his back and pressed the needle into Nazaroth. Soon there will be no pain. That had been a lie. Burning fire seared up Nazaroth's arm. A fever hit him, and all his organs all rebelled, causing pain all over his body. His joints seized as he reached for his arm, and rheumatoid set in. As rheumatoid. Is that how you say that word?
Yeah. Rheumatoid.
Yeah.
Okay. Muscles convulsed and bones cracked as he doubled over, vomiting coagulated black filth he assumed must have been from his stomach. The pain almost blinded him, except no one could see. His eyes jellied in their sockets as his tongue desecrated. Dissected?
Desiccated. He tried to scream, but his lungs liquefied in his chest, drowning now with no sensation but the pain. Nazaroth heard it, a whisper quietly saying, I can stop the pain. Would you like that? Nazaroth couldn't say anything, but his mind begged for release. Shall I stop the pain? Again, the whisper came, and Nazaroth begged. Suddenly, the pain stopped, and Nazaroth could feel the rapid decay of his body, but no longer it pained him. The whisper came again. I shall remake you. You shall be mine, and your pain will forever be gone. With this, there was nothing. Nazaroth was nothing. Put the gift with the others, the gifted with the others. We shall need them in the drop. The master commanded the two closest cultists, who immediately obeyed, fearing the same fate. That was an excellent display, biologist. Thank you, Lord Commander. I hope that the test... I hope to test it soon, a more worthy test subject. I believe it will have similar effects on the Astartes. Although the gene seed will remain intact if my machinations are correct, this should make our job a great deal quicker. That it will be a fine thing. We will be able to double our success of our mission and bring yet more to the Fly Lord's embrace. You are dismissed. You have preparations to make before planetfall. The Lord Commander sat in his throne, once again contemplated the world before him. Soon they shall know there is only one constant in the universe. There is only decay. Okay. So that's the story. Yeah, and then he has given us, or is this a different?
Nope, this is in like his one of his war bands or whatever, or his elite unit
The
or something.
Weeping Scythe?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the story of just a small, I guess, portion of the Lamenters.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
The Lamenting Ones?
The Lamenting Ones.
Yeah. Because
It was pretty cool. It was really graphic.
Yeah.
I liked that.
And they're all
Yeah,
crying.
well written.
It was very descriptive
Yeah.
in what it did. So
Yeah.
I liked that it showed the difference between, like, what a Space Marine, like, still Chaos, but like a Space Marine thought of, like, another one of, like, Nurgle's people.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
like even though both of them like worship Nurgle,
Yeah, yeah.
he's still like, we're way better than
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So I like that sense of superiority they have.
Yeah, no, it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, there's nothing really. It's just a good story. It just shows like what he's trying to do. I don't know. There's a real joy. He wants to bring the galaxy rotten. Yeah, it's just interesting. Okay.
Everything decays eventually.
Yeah.
And he just wants to bring it to everyone.
Yeah. The Weeping Scythe. Commander of the Weeping Scythe. The warriors of the Weeping Scythe were the most brutal of all the Lamenting Ones warband. Known for the need to see the spread of the Nurgle's gift firsthand, they are never far from the thickest of fighting. Disdaining the use of bolter, perceiving them as cowardly, the Plague Marines of the Weeping Scythe favor blight, axe, and flail. This allows them to fully relish the spread of contagion as they rip through the enemies. Every warrior of the Weeping Scythe aspires to one day earn the right to cataphracti armor, and to this end will perform suicidal assaults with joy, safe in the knowledge of their resilience, attempting to prove their prowess. As such, many die in their attempt. However, those that survive will be noticed by the Lord Commander, and among them, some will receive the honor of becoming Blight Lords. Some may even be skilled enough to earn a place amongst the Death Shroud, a personal gift from Mortarion, the nameless, faceless honor guard, who accompanies the Lord Commander wherever he goes. Don't fail me now, Anthraxus. The words of the Lord Commander echoed around his inner sanctum in the dark, dank chamber adjacent to the bridge. Is this a whole nother story?
Kind of.
Holy moly.
Yeah, this guy wrote a lot. Do you want me to take over?
You can take over this one.
All right. Don't fail me, Anthraxus. The words of the Lord Commander echoed around his inner sanctum, a dark and dank chamber adjacent to the bridge of the ship. The flickering glow of a long, faulty light sporadically illuminating the chamber. Oh, that would piss me off. Grotesque symbols coated the walls, always writhing and changing, as if Nurgle himself was using them to communicate with the Lord Commander. Yours is but the first strike to this planet. However, the first strike must always cut. It must spread contagion so the foe weakens. The first infection to act as a gateway to the greater plague. The Lord Commander turned, his huge bulk of armor whining and creaking from rust as his brute strength forced it to his will. Anthraxus Bulgoth lowered his gaze. Even in this informal setting, to not show proper respect would be risky. You have earned this, Anthraxus. The Lord Commander made no mention of the submissive stance. It was expected. You have proved your worth to the Fly Lord through years as my commander of the Weeping Scythe. Now all of you or that service has come through. Anthraxus said nothing. He knew he had deserved this honor. Who else but he had shown such devotion to the Fly Lord? The gifts of Nurgle had increased his power, and now he would gain yet more from this assault. He would personally drive plague into this planet, and in the end he would stand amongst ruins of his enemies' lives. No failure shall occur, Lord Commander. This planet shall be ours, as have all in the past. Decay is inevitable. The Fly Lord is the end of all things. Failure will bring consequence. Be sure that you are prepared. Take the surgeon with you. He shall inform me of your progress, as well as claim the fallen for our own. Furthermore, take a group of gifted with you. They need the exercise. Naturally, the Weeping Scythe shall accompany you, and an additional squad of my choosing. You may take on any of the pets. Their skills will serve you well, I'm sure. Make arrangements for planetfall. I expect a company ready in 2 hours. It shall be done, Lord Commander. See that it is. And Thraxus turned to walk from the chamber. One last thing. And Thraxus paused. The Plaguecaster will accompany you. The Lord Commander had clearly disdained even the mention of him, and Thraxus was wary of psychers. They were weak, cowardly creatures. However, unlike his master, he held no hatred. The Fly Lords supplied his gifts differently to others. Very well, Lord Commander, I shall ensure his presence is utilized. Keep an eye on that coward. He believes himself above his station, and I shall not tolerate his rampant meddling. Of course, Lord Commander, his leash shall be tight. And Thraxus left the chamber, and he had much to do prior to planetfall, and delay would be a dangerous endeavor.
Very cool.
This guy wrote a book with his story.
No, it's good though. At least there's a couple things in there that was. I like that he tied it back to like the Horus Heresy a bit, and like to Mortarion, and like even Death Guard are like known for not liking psychers, and he kind of tied that in there a little bit.
A little bit of that prejudice in there.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really have much to say about that. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Now, is the Weeping Scythe? Do they already exist within the Death Guard?
I don't think they do. So that's entirely his. But like, warbands do exist within the Death Guard.
Okay.
So like, it's fully within his right to make.
Of course. Yeah. I'm more wondering like, because if the Weeping Scythe was already like an established warband, then I could find out any information I wanted to about them.
Yeah.
You know, how do they normally operate? Like, I guess he kind of talked about how they favor blight axes and flails.
Yeah.
So they can like get in nice and close to spread their contagion, which is pretty cool. Another thing that I kind of had a question about was the surgeon needed to go with them because they would claim some as their own. Does that mean like Space Marines?
Yeah, maybe collecting aspirants, or people do use, or Astartes, heretical Astartes do capture fallen Astartes and like brainwash him to join their legion and stuff, and like torture him to join.
So that's kind of
cool.
He
could be looking for them. He could just be looking for like teenage boys to capture, or anyone who proves himself of worth, really.
That's
or even just
sweet.
be collecting the gene seed of like people. So no, it's a cool story for sure.
Yeah, it definitely has a Death Guard feel.
Yeah.
To it, which is the main thing, right?
Yeah.
If you really described
Yeah.
like how his armor is all rotting and he's just forcing it, and the whole scene.
I like too that it's not just Death Guard focus. Like there was
literally like
the gifted ones are just regular humans and cultists and stuff. Like I like that. Like,
he showed the perspective of like some guy who just happened to live there. Like he's obviously in an honored position, but lives in constant fear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of how it would be. Like, oh man, I'm so happy I'm here, but I'm probably
oh god,
die.
I don't like it here.
yeah, exactly.
Happy I'm here, but the quicker I can leave, the better. But I like that one. Nope, that's all.
Yeah, we're sitting right at the end there. I don't think we've got time for another one.
Okay, perfect.
Well, so that was what, 3 that we read out loud? 4?
4, 3, something like that.
4. I think we got to 4.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was actually really fun reading these out loud. Some of these I've seen before. A lot of them are actually new to me.
Yeah.
But keep them coming, guys, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. And as we get them, we'll add them to our list, and we'll just keep
hammering more episodes.
Yeah, as long as you keep sending them, we'll eventually get around to reading them. So.
And sharing them. We'll read them immediately.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.